ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tesla CEO, founder, Elon Musk. Now, you know, we made it a point not to rehearse anything, and so I just want to just as a reminder, you're my last thing.
Okay.
Okay. Could you not ruin the whole thing?
All right.
All right. So remember now. Speaking of that, I think everybody would like to, before we get into all of the good stuff.
Okay.
And they want to go directly to the juicy stuff.
Okay.
Okay, and the juicy stuff is this. Look, you know, you were quoted as saying that artificial intelligence is more dangerous than nuclear weapons. And
I said potentially.
and well, it goes on. It goes on. And
it does go on.
You say that it's like summoning the demon.
Could be.
How do you consolidate, rationalize the conflict between artificial intelligence, of course, deep learning that obviously is going to be very important to self-driving cars? How do you think through that?
Well, I don't think we have to worry about autonomous cars, because that's sort of like a narrow form of AI. And it's not something that I think is very difficult, actually. I think to do autonomous driving to a degree that's much safer than a person is much easier than people think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think it's going to just become normal. Like it'll be like an elevator. Like they used to have elevator operators, and then we developed some simple circuitry to have elevators just automatically come to the floor that you're at, and you can just press the button. Nobody needs to operate the elevator. The car is just going to be like that.
And the elevators these days are even smart. I mean, it knows where to position an elevator, so that if you were to need an elevator, it's pretty close to you. Cars in the future will be pretty smart about that too.
Yeah, you'll be able to tell your car, like, take me home, go here, go there, anything, and it'll just do it.
Now, you guys,
yeah, at an order of magnitude safer than a person. And in fact, in the distant future, I think it's probably going to be people may outlaw driving cars because it's too dangerous. Like you can't have a person driving a 2-ton death machine.
Now, if we have the right type of intelligence in a car, we also don't have to make the cars that heavy, I would think. You know, cars are getting heavier and heavier, and it's got more and more stuff in it because it needs to survive all these incredible collisions and things like that. I wonder if we were to design cars that just simply don't collide as much. I wonder if we could relax on some of those laws and make cars more fuel efficient and lighter and better to drive.
You could definitely do that. If you could count on not having an accident, then you can get rid of a huge amount of the crash structure and the airbags. We're a long way from that, because there's always going to be for a very long time, there'll be some amount of legacy cars on the road. And I think it is important to just appreciate the size of the automotive industrial base. Like, it's not as though, like, when somebody makes an autonomous car that suddenly all the cars will be autonomous. It's like there's 2 billion of them. Okay, so the total number of cars and trucks on the road is 2 billion and climbing. The capacity of car and truck production is about 100 million a year. So if tomorrow all cars were autonomous, it would take 20 years to replace the fleet, assuming the fleet stayed the same size. Arguably, it could get smaller if things are autonomous. But still, it's still, maybe 15 years or something, and it's not all going to transition immediately. It'll take quite a while. So, and it's the same for electrification of cars. Changing that industrial base to be electric. I mean, if all cars were suddenly, if all cars produced were electric tomorrow, it would still take 20 years to replace the fleet. And right now it's less than 1%. So.
Now you mentioned just now about self-driving cars being easier than people think. Now you have your vision of how to go from where we are today. Now my P85D has lane detection, and so it gets a little bzz, when I get close to a lane.
Yep.
It detects the speed signs, and it uses computer vision technology to do that. And that's today's ADAS. What is your roadmap? How is that different than other people's roadmap? How do you think about how to get to self-driving cars?
Yeah, well, you kind of need the hardware foundation, the sort of sensor and computing foundation. then you can keep uploading new software. At least you can with a Tesla because it's always connected. So the car that you have, you'll notice like the features are steadily improving. We now have active cruise control, so it'll use radar and camera fusion to track the car in front of you. It's also looking at with some things that are coming out. It looks at the brake lights, so it anticipates that the brake lights are active. It's going to get basically smarter and smarter, even with the current hardware suite. So the current hardware suite is 360-degree ultrasonic sensors. We'll make, even with just that sensor suite, we can actually make huge progress in autonomy. We can certainly make the car steer itself on a freeway and do lane changes. It's really, autonomy is about what level of reliability and safety do you want. Even with the current sensor suite, we could make the car go fully autonomous, but not to a level of reliability that would be safe in, say, a complex urban environment at 30 miles an hour where the lane markings aren't there and children could be playing and things could be coming at you from the side. So in order to solve that, you need a bigger sensor suite and you need more computing power. And I think what you're doing actually with the Tegras in the future is super interesting and will really be a big enabler for autonomous driving. So I think NVIDIA is doing really great stuff on that front.
I appreciate that. What about government policies? Like one of the things that I would like to do is I would just like to keep working on my email as I'm driving to work.
Sure.
There's a 30.
Some people do that already.
Like I said, I would like to do it without breaking the law.
Oh, yes.
So where do you think government intervention falls in some of this stuff? Because obviously if your car drives by itself and it does it even better than people, you would like it to drive by itself, but largely the laws don't allow you to do that today.
Right, absolutely.
So how do we cross that bridge and how do you think about government intervention regulations?
Right, so I think it'll be from the point at which a car is definitely safer than a person. There's probably at least another 2 or 3 years after that before regulators will allow that to be the case, because they will want to see a large amount of statistical proof that it's not merely as safe as a person, but much safer. All right.
All right, Elon, thank you.
All right.